Are you wondering about the new Mario Kart Live Home Circuit? Well, we've had a chance to play with it, and if you stick around, we'll tell you what we think. Hey, welcome back for our review on Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. We've had this little guy in our studio and at the PGH Game Fix house for just over a week now, and we've had a lot of fun with it. There's some pros and some cons, just like with any of these devices, but we'll get to that in just a moment. First thing I'd like to do is just to show a basic setup with this for any new users who may want or may be interested in it. In our unboxing, we were looking for a charge port, and it's just underneath the side cover here. So it's pretty easy to access. And our power button is right here on the fuel tank, the bodywork, whatever you want to call that. So let's go ahead and get into our switch, and we'll get Mario Kart started up. It does take a little time for this one to load. For indoor use only. I think this would be a lot of fun if they made one with large tires that we could run outside. So as you can see, it walks you through the setup. You press the ignition button, you start to get a blinking light, and we get a blue light whenever it finds it. And just like with Mario Kart, you can pick your car design, your driver outfit, and your accessories. Now obviously this doesn't change, but it does in the screen of the game. Single player, multiplayer. Now, for the multiplayer mode, you do have to have a second vehicle. Personally, I would like to see Nintendo make the multiplayer work without a second vehicle, because these are a little bit on the expensive side. But for now, we'll just put it in single player mode, and he falls down a warp pipe. And from there, you can go into explore mode. And as you can see, we've got our workbench. And there's our first gate. So from here, you'd have to set up your gates or your track, and it kind of records it. Now that brings me to another point. So for now, let's just turn down the volume, which is the other direction. So that's our gates. Now, these are cardboard, just like, you know, with the other Nintendo Switch toys they've been bringing out, the Labos. And if you're careful, it's good quality cardboard. There's little plastic hinges in it that allow this all to pivot. And I'm sure these will last a very long time. Now, what I'm hopeful for is that they bring out a kit with some of the arrows and maybe some replacement gates at a reasonable cost, because I know personally I would like to have a set of these put aside for years to come. Being a collector, and I have odd 30 plus year old type games, I like to have some of these oddities, and I'd love to have some backups on them. So the easiest way to do it is to make sure this is spread, pull the side open just a little bit, and then make sure that's the whole way in. So spread it, push it the whole way in. Don't just force it, because if you do, you'll wind up bending the tab on the insert. And then the feet just push out like this. So if you give me one moment, I'll set up our fourth gate. From here, we can set up our course. We're already in front of gate 1 in a coin that it projects onto the floor. And once you're there, you can select X. And what they do is they paint your tires. And he tells you to go. So A is forward, B is reverse. Also, it shows how strong the battery is in the cart and how good the signal is between the switch and the cart. So if we go and drive around, you can see I've laid out just a basic oval course. And it shows you what the course looks like. So we're good with that. So we'll say we're done. And once it's held the course, oh, you can also change what radio station you're on. So if we go to our coin, this is the point where you could start a race. So from here, we can kind of go back in and race the course we just built. Grand Prix, 50 cc's, and just for giggles, we'll just use that. And you can see now the gates are painted and it shows a flag, and our competitors will come in. And we got our boost. And just like with Mario Kart, you can drift, you can throw your banana peels, you can get your boost, and the car is physically speeding up down there as you run through the laps. And you can see it. Oh, and I got squidded. It really is a lot of fun. I got shelled and electrocuted, but I managed to get first place. All right. So anyway, and yes, I was a day one Switch owner, and my screen name is Dad. If anybody wants to play against me, you can find me. And we unlocked a new outfit. Anyway, so that's the game in a nutshell. There's a lot of good and bad with this particular game. First of all, on the positive side, I am absolutely glad that Nintendo built something like this. The augmented reality or virtual reality, whichever label you want to put on it, it's a lot of fun. And I could see, you know, if you have a buddy or two that also has these cars, it could be just a complete riot, running around crashing into each other in real time. The game itself plays very well, just like any Mario Kart. Drifting is a little hard, but it works with a little bit of practice, just like with any of the games. I guess some of my biggest complaints with it is the lack of a real game cartridge. These are not inexpensive. These are retail right now for $100 in the US. And I'm very disappointed I didn't get a real game or a physical game. And I understand over the years there's going to be updates and there's going to be improvements. But as a collector, as somebody who owns a day one Game Boy, who owns a Virtual Boy, Game Boy Colors, you know, these guys here, Nintendo has already proven that when they decide they don't want to support a system, their systems go down. So if you have, you know, even going back to the DSi, I think that was probably one of the first where we had DSiWare. If you had downloaded content on a DSi, but you've lost your memory card, the only way to recover that right now is essentially going bootleg, which I personally don't recommend or condone. But you know, if that's the only way to get it back to play it on your true hardware, then that's sometimes what you have to do. With the Wii, they did the same thing. They started discontinuing some of the services, and you know, the bootleg community or the pirating community kind of stepped up so we could still play some of these old games. My fear is whatever the next generation system is, the Switch is going to be forgotten, and that's going to force us to do what we have to do. So Nintendo, if you're watching, please make a physical release on this. I'd even pay a few dollars for it, but honestly, after paying $100 for a remote control car and some cardboard gates, I would like to have one mailed to me. I think that's my biggest complaint with it, really. The signal isn't too bad. It doesn't like to go through very many walls, but even when we're playing it at the house, the signal carries pretty good. And of course, my kids absolutely love it. It's just a ball to play. So if you're considering buying it, think about the couple negatives, the cardboard gates, the not having a physical release on the cartridge. But also think about the entertainment value. It is really a very good Mario Kart. So there it is in a nutshell. My recommendation is to buy it. I hope that Nintendo gives me a physical cartridge, just so when this thing's sitting in the closet and I pull it out 20 years from now, I can still make it work. So anyway, if you've enjoyed the video and the review, please subscribe. Thanks.